First to leave the party, My Life with Ordinary People Who Happen to Be Famous is a compelling memoir about one man's amazing life and some of the extraordinary celebrities he befriended along the way.
The mind behind that book, author and philanthropist Salah Bashir, joins us now to tell us about his new book and interactions with these ordinary famous people. Salah, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us more about the title of this book and what it's actually referring to.
It's almost like a survival tactic. They had to leave the party before people get drunk or obnoxious, or you do things that you shouldn't be doing. You're still getting the best of a conversation. It comes after years of not leaving first. And so it's just about getting the best of someone and not being there just for the kicks and fun and yeah.
Yeah, well, you're telling me Marlon Brando, very famously known as Stella from Streetcar Named Desire. Now, you're telling me he came over for a barbecue at your parents' backyard, and your mom wasn't even sure who he was? You got to tell me more about that.
Well, he filmed a film near Toronto called The Freshman with Matthew Broderick, and I was sent to interview Matthew Broderick because he was hot after Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And Brando was sitting there, and of course I adored Brando, and I'd seen like everything, and started talking to him, and he said, "Where can I get good Lebanese food?" And I said, "My mom's." And he was filming in an area where I had worked as a teenager in warehouses, and my parents lived 5 minutes away, and so she just thought I was bringing another friend over, and she made everything she could and took everything out. We sat in the backyard and had a great conversation, and we remained friends over the years. And I took him around Toronto and introduced him as my cousin George from Lebanon. We looked alike at the time. Since I was younger, and there's even a scene in the movie where he's skating, and because I used to be a hockey goalie, and everybody assumed it was me, but it was Marlon. Yeah. And again, it's that same kind of interaction throughout the book of not fawning or gawking over someone, but just having a moment with them, just as an ordinary person.
You know, you write in this book about the early days of the AIDS crisis in New York and the activism of ACT UP founder Larry Kramer, and also about the contributions to that cause made by Doris Day, Elizabeth Taylor, and Princess Diana. So what's the significance of bold-faced names making these public gestures?
Well, it was a time when no one was talking about AIDS. We just went through a pandemic, and everybody was telling you what to do with COVID, what to wash, how to deal with it. And during AIDS, no one was talking about it. It was simply hush hush, and no one knew what to do. And Larry Kramer took to the streets with ACT UP and raised the issues. And people like Elizabeth Taylor had the first AIDS Foundation and raised tons of money, and she had said that people were dying because of ignorance. And Doris Day, hugged Rock Hudson on her show and kissed him in her animal pet show. And when he died, she said that Rock is in heaven. And same with Princess Diana, would go into hospices and touch people without gloves and hug them, which was unheard of. But making those moments and what you did with your celebrities, what the book's all about, like how you use your celebrity to advance civil rights or gay rights or human rights, really. And that's why I wanted to write the book.
Now, this book is unique in that you do not worship celebrities, but are more concerned with what celebrity stars do with their status and such. Now, can you tell us more about your views on fame and how you managed to write about celebs without gushing?
Well, I wanted to get to know somebody on a level where I'm not going up if they're having dinner and say, "Hey, can I have an autograph?" I do say in there the only autograph I really wanted was on a check for fundraising. And so I get to know on a level what movie they did, why they did it, and what they're supporting. And so you have somebody like Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward who raised hundreds of millions of dollars through their foundation by lending their name. You have others like Andy Warhol, who left tons of paintings and everything to the foundation to help other museums around the world, and they've given hundreds of millions of dollars. People who've used their voices for human rights and civil rights, like Eartha Kitt or Aretha Franklin, who Muhammad Ali, all of those people in the book, I wanted to highlight that aspect of them. Or people for healthcare, like Patricia Neal, who had a stroke, or Betty Davis, and they're passion to, lift other people up and to help them survive every day.
I think ultimately, at the end of the day, celebrities, they're celebrity because, that's their job, but they also are real people who have passions, who care about certain things. So I think this is a pretty fascinating book. So where can our viewers go to get the book and maybe find out some more information?
My website is salahbashir.com, and the book's available on Amazon right now. They have a sale as part of this launch, and at any local bookstore, you go and ask them to order it if it's not there.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to have to check it out.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And I think we'll send you some water from Canada here.
Okay, we would love that. We need all the water we can get right now.
I was watching earlier, yes. Thank you.